Tired of feeling like you're spinning all the plates in your design business and at any moment they could all come crashing down? Are you feeling like you're so close to breaking through to the next level, but those consistent projects still aren't flowing your way? Are you ready to finally take your business from a hobby to 100K and beyond? Then welcome to the SixFigure Designer Podcast. I'm talking all the techniques you need in your design business to start paying yourself, get great clients, and finally break through that 5-figure ceiling. Hello, everyone. It's Pam Durkin here. I'm starting to do some lives because I know that sales and selling for creatives is one of those things that we just really do not love to do, myself included. I am a self-proclaimed introvert, and some of you may be thinking that's not true, but absolutely it is. So these types of things, even doing this live, is just makes me feel ill. And so maybe some of you can relate to that. But I have been using a technique in my own business for so long now, and it's been so incredibly liberating and helpful for someone who is introverted and hates selling and hates having all of those, conversations with clients when trying to sell them. So I'm starting a series of lives to help people like yourself, like me, creatives and interior designers, to help them with that selling process so it's not so incredibly icky and gross and stressful. So we're going to be doing this over the next couple weeks. This is my first one, so of course, bear with me. It's been forever since I've done a live, but I would love for you to tell me how you guys feel about selling in your business. Like, are you totally cool with it, or is it something that you could really do without, if at all possible? If someone else did it, you'd be happy. Um, so I just want to thank a couple followers that have already come on. So Mountain Lux, hello, good to see you here. Excuse me, my throat's bothering me. The Green Room Interiors, hello, good to see you. We're going to be doing this live over the next couple of weeks. We're going to be doing it at 12 o'clock. So if you want to mark your calendars and come back, we're going to be talking about simple techniques that you can really do to get much better at selling in your business and in a way that feels very empowering and that feels like you are totally prepared. So if you're an interior designer and you have your own business and you're struggling with sales, you may want to come back and come see that these lives every week. Sorry. Welcome to live, right? So I'd love to hear some of the struggles that you have as we go through this, because then I can start addressing some of the things that are going on in your own business. So we talked about being introverted. So many creatives are introverted and just hate being sort of in front of the camera, and the ones that are doing the selling and putting themselves out there. But in reality, when you have your own business, this is what we do. We have to sell ourselves or else we're kind of dead in the water, right? And so many of you have told me that you hate that. And of course, as a true introvert, I have so many notes of things that I want to talk about today, and we're not going to go too far over, but I do want to give you some information and something that you can actually use in your business. So one of the beautiful things, hey, Ian, nice to see you. Hey, Quartz Mandan, nice to see you. Hey, Rachel, how you doing, girl? And Ellen, Nikki, hi, how are you? Good to have you guys all here. One of the things about introverts that is it's sort of like our superpower, right? Is that we love information and we love to get into all the details of like why things are this way and how does this work and how do we put these pieces together, right? So to me, we can channel that superpower into something that can really help us sell in our businesses. So I want you to think of that part of being introverted and being a designer. That's probably why you became a designer too, because we love all those little tiny details and we can totally get mired into just diving deep into so many tiny little details. But one of the things that makes that great is that we can now apply that business. So I want you to think about one of those powers that you have, those superpowers that you have. Never thought that that was possible. So feeling when we have when we have all the details and we do a lot of research, we feel informed and we feel prepared. Like one of the biggest things that I see most designers don't like is talking on their feet. So meaning not necessarily something that they're comfortable with, but in an area they're uncomfortable with. When you're being interviewed by a client and they ask you a tough question and you're sort of like, what? You kind of freeze up, right? So knowing this information and being more prepared and more informed as a designer is going to give you a lot more confidence. So one of the things that we're going to talk about today is an exercise that you can do in your own business. Hopefully you're doing it. Maybe you're not doing it. I would suspect that 99% of you are doing it up here, which is welcome to the world of design. We do so many things up here and we never write anything down and we never tell anybody else what we're doing. So no one else can ever help us, right? So I want you to be taking the information that you think's up here, and I want you to be backing it up with real facts that are going on in your business. So many of you have told me there's a couple big struggles when it comes to getting clients and finding clients. One of the big ones is, hey, Mumford, how are you? One of the big struggles is that you're not getting the right client inquiries, which means just like not the right people are coming your way. The other thing is you're either not getting enough inquiries or you're not getting, or it's very inconsistent. So that stream of clients is, sort of up and down. And that all comes back to, the feast and famine that we talked about. And then the third thing is a lot of you are looking to build a client base. So maybe you have one or two great clients, but now you want 10 clients or 20 clients or even clients that will come back year after year or even every 5 years. So that seems to be the biggest struggle that everyone comes up with. And my question to you is, are you tracking your lead? So let's answer that question. And some of you may be saying, absolutely, I know where all my clients are coming from. They're coming from referrals. I would say yes, that's part of it, but there's more. So I want you to be thinking about some other details when it comes to that. So not just tracking leads that turn into business, but tracking all the leads that come to your business, whether or not you get them, whether or not they're a good fit. I'm saying, are you tracking that? And then when I say tracking, I also mean, hey, Remodel Your Life, good to see you here. When I say tracking your leads, I also mean, are you actually not just up here tracking your lead, but putting it in a document so that you can see exactly what's going on? So not just the leads that you get and not just client referrals, but everything that's coming on into your business. So when it comes to tracking leads, I think there are 6 critical issues that you should be thinking about. One is the who. So who's the referral source? And we're going to go into a little bit of detail on this as we go through. Just FYI, to give you guys a heads up, I'm going to be doing a free masterclass called Sales for Introverts. And we're going to be talking about techniques that you can do in your business more expanded than this. That's going to help you bring in sales a lot easier. So let's get back to tracking leads. So when you track leads, the first one is who. Who's the referral source? Then it's the how. What's the media? And we're going to get into a little bit about media because we all tend to think media is only social media, but there's more to it than that. Then we're going to be wondering, what's the type? Like, what's the project type? We're going to be talking about or tracking the timing. And the timing is how long, this is all sort of pre-sale, like how long from the time that somebody contacts us until we receive a decision. And then the sixth thing is, the fifth thing is decision. The decision is yes, no, or ghost. That's what most people, those are the three ways that someone can give you a decision, right? And then what's the value? Meaning, what is the value of that lead to your business? What did you think the design fee was going to be? What was the actual purchases they made? So putting a dollar amount to that lead. Those are incredibly detailed information that is going to help you going forward in your business. And it's going to give you so much more information for what to do next. So if you're not understanding who's coming to you and why they're coming to you and what's happening when they come to you, then you can't see where the gaps are in your business. So we're going to dive into these 6 items real quick here because I want you to really be a lot more thoughtful about what you're doing with these leads in your business. So in terms of tracking your lead, now I just want to briefly mention that some of you may have a CRM, which is you're tracking the clients that are coming in and out of your business. I don't know how many of you are actually tracking when anyone comes into your business and has sort of opted into something, saying, I want to at least be in your sphere of influence and haven't necessarily become a client yet. So this is a tracking of as many of these things as possible when somebody contacts you. So I want you to be thinking about that. So the first thing is, hi, join the gloss. How are you? And Elsa Norsol, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. So the first thing is the who. So the person that has, given you an opportunity, who was that person? Was it a client? Was it a current client? Was it a past client? These are information that you want to know because it's going to become important, right? Is it a vendor? Is it a vendor you're currently doing business with? Is it an industry contact? Maybe it's from a trade association. Maybe it's a vendor that's in your world, but you're not actually doing business with them. Or maybe it's even a non-vendor. So in my tracking sheet, I have a category for that type of thing is who is the lead? Who did the lead come from? The actual name, and then what kind of category are they in? So you want to be seeing all of that. The other thing is it could be a non-industry contact. So maybe it's somebody from your past life. So many designers are actually coming in as this is their second career. So you may have some great contacts from a previous career that have now seen what your new career is and is sending leads your way. I have a couple coaching clients, and that's where they get a lot of their business as well. So is it a non-industry contact, maybe from your past life? And then is it a personal contact, family, friends, which I've heard a lot of people have said those are not as good. It kind of depends on where, how your leads are coming to you from those family and friends. And then the other thing is, what about, are you getting some leads from, say, people from your kid's school, or you're involved in a hobby, like I do dance and I'm in a group with a bunch of friends and they have given me leads. So is it a hobby group where you now have some kind of connection where you're getting leads from that? So I want you to be thinking client, vendor, industry contact, non-industry contact, or personal, family, friends, your sphere of influence, maybe a hobby. The second thing is the how. So, and we talked about what's the media. And I want you to be thinking much broader than just social media, because that's what most people think of. But what's the media? Meaning, how are they coming to you? Is your contact coming through your website? Is it coming through a social media? And then which one? Because we're on a bunch of different things, right? So you want to be tracking all of that. Are they coming via email? Have they called you on the phone? Maybe you're doing some kind of newsletter and you have a contact information through that. So where are they coming to you from? Much more detailed than I'm getting referrals from clients. Okay. Past client, current client, did they call you on the phone? Did they go through your website? These are good, really good levels of detail to understand in your business so that you can start diving into what's really working or understanding where these leads are coming from. Hey, Mabel, good to see you. Um, so I want you to be thinking, what's the media? And then a lot more detailed as to what's that media, not just necessarily social media. And so many people have said that social media isn't really where their leads are coming from. But again, when you get somebody to contact you, you want to also say, how did you find us? They may or may not give you the answer on where they first heard about you, but it's always good to just track as much of that as you possibly can. Then you want to be getting into the what, which is the project details. What type of project? Is it a renovation? Is it a new build? Is it a single family home? Is it an apartment? Like these types of things. So the type of project, the location of the project, geographically or community wise, things like that, because those can also be qualifying factors. Eventually, we talk about the client audition. This can be a qualifying factor is to the location. It could be neighborhood, it could be zip code, it could be distance from your office. There's so many things there. But so if you know that information and you've been tracking it, that can be really, really interesting for you. And then what's the size of that project? So many of us have said, we only want whole house projects or whatever that is. Well, let's decide what that means. What's that minimum square footage? What's that type of project? Where's it located? You can only do that by sort of analyzing what's happened already in your business and then going back and saying, this is working or this isn't working. I'm not getting the leads I want, or I'm getting great clients that I want, or I'm getting some great things that I want. Let's dive into that detail more. So after you're tracking the what, you're going to be tracking the when. And the when, this is so important. So I have a saying in my business, maybe you guys have heard this, called money loves speed, right? So you want to be tracking the time it takes from the time they initially contacted you, however that is, website, social media, phone call, whatever, to how long it takes them from the time you initially get contacted until a decision is made. And now, the decision is yes, no, or ghost, right? So you want to be checking that out, because the other thing is this is going to help you in planning, because we know how we talk about our businesses go up and down in terms of we have all this work and then we have nothing and then we freak out because we got to start marketing and doing all these things. If you don't know what your average time frame is from contact to decision, then you don't really have the information you need to know when you should start, priming the pump again, right? Hey, Jill, priming the pump again when things are starting to wrap up. Most of us are in a small business and we don't have a huge amount of staff. And as designers generally do, get project, do project, freak out because we need another project, right? So now we're giving ourselves more information, love the information, right? So that we can get better at planning our marketing and our selling strategy in our business. Hey, Marlene, good to see you. I'm glad you're here. So we want to know how long it's going to take us from that initial contact till the decision is made for us. And, we talked about money, love, speed. There's a couple, things I do in my own business time frame wise where I keep those time frames as short as possible. So you're going to be thinking about how quickly you can respond to somebody, because that also helps in how percentage wise you have the ability to close the sale just because you answered quickly. So think about that. The fifth item in this whole process of tracking is decision. What decision was made? It's either a yes, we're moving forward with you. It's a no, we're not going to work with you. We decide to go in another direction. Or even you decided that you don't want to take them on as a client, which is awesome too. Hi, Avec Interiors. Good to see you. I'm glad you're here. And the third thing is ghost. And why do we want to be tracking, say, the ghosting? Because if you're seeing a pattern, if you start to see that you have 10 leads come in over a course of several months or whatever it is, and you're seeing that 9 out of 10 are ghosting you, Okay, we need to address that. We need to figure out why that's happening, right? And so I want you to be, this is going to give you clues as to what's going on. So there's a couple of reasons the decision is really important. One is going to tell you what your close rate is, meaning number of opportunities that come into your business to awarded projects. So that's telling you what your close rate is. So for instance, if you get 10 opportunities and you're only closing 2 and you need so many projects per year, this is telling you how many times you need to be getting in front of people or getting opportunities in your business to continue to keep all of that moving. And these are the things that this is what tracking does for you, right? And you maybe have never thought about this before. In terms of, so the yeses are great, right? So it's a project that you want, they want to work with you, we're going to move forward, boom, that's a yes, right? Now, no's have a couple different layers to it. It's no, we're not a good fit for each other. And that goes both ways, right? That could be from the client side or could be from your own side saying this isn't a good fit for me and my business. And, or there could be the questions weren't answered or they didn't have enough information that they needed, right, to make a decision to go with you. So there's a layer there. And then the third thing is maybe they just decided after they went through this whole exercise, they just decided not to do it. So many times people, designers we're very sensitive, right? And we hate when people say no to us or they, it's like we don't want to be on their team, right? They don't pick us. Many times it has nothing to do with us. It's because they're busy or they made a decision and then didn't inform us of it because it's just they decided they'd rather go on a vacation or something happened in their family, things that happen. So we just have to remember that no's are either not a good fit, we didn't answer the questions, or they didn't have enough information to fully make the decision, or maybe they just decided not to do it. Then we have the ghosts, right? There's probably a lot of ghosting going on, but where they never really tell us why or they never really tell us no, right? They never tell us that they've decided to go in another direction or they just decided not to do it. But sometimes they just might have gotten busy as well, distracted, busy. We're coming into summertime. So many people are planning vacation. They thought they might want to do a project and then they decided we have too many things going on over the summer. We'll revisit in the fall. And that's part of, your process of keeping in touch. So this is why you want to be also tracking your leads as to what has happened. Hey, Penske Builders, nice to see you. Thanks for joining. So you want to be looking at what happened with the decisions, and then you can sort of start to craft how to up your close rate. So if your close rate's only at 20%, we have to figure out why you're not closing more, and we need to be moving that close rate up. Now, some of that has to do with qualifying correctly, and that's like a whole nother discussion, but if you're tracking this information, it's going to really help you in your business see that there's a problem in some area or, either that you need more leads, you need better leads, or you're never getting to the finish line or that your close rate is too low. And then the other thing I want you tracking is the value of the project, whether or not you get it. So if you've done a design proposal, that would at least be the value of that project. If you thought that they were going to be buying furniture, I like to put design fees and purchases in 2 different columns because that just also helps me kind of look at what's going on there and what those breakdowns are. But, certainly what you thought the value of that project was, because it's also going to give you more information in terms of the type of leads that are actually closing. And if you want to be getting bigger projects or higher fees or something like that, it's going to help you start to move in that direction. So I want you to be tracking the value of a project, even if you don't get it. So tracking your leads is super important. And all this information gives you power, right? It gives you information that tells you what's going on and where your leads are coming from. Because so many of you have told me that you're not getting enough or you're not getting high enough quality. And where those leads are coming from are also going to help you determine about referral sources, and we can talk about that later. Of course, I would love to hear what you're struggling with in terms of sales in your business, if you're tracking your leads or what your biggest struggle is, because we can certainly talk about this going forward on future lives. But just to recap, I want you to be tracking your leads. I want you to be tracking the who, where they're coming from, like that referral source, the how, what's the media, the what, which is the type of project it is with those details, location, size, renovation, new build, whatever, the timing, the when, from initial contact to decision, yes, no, or ghost, um, and what the decision was, right? And then the value of that project. So those are the things I want you to start tracking in your business. You're going to start seeing who your best referral sources are. It may or may not be client, may be coming from somewhere else. And that's incredible information to know. And this is giving you so much power because so many people say, I don't know where to start. I don't have enough business. I don't know what to do. This information is going to help you with that. So you're going to find out who your best referral sources are, where your leads are coming from, meaning that media, right? How fast is the sales process moving from contact to decision? What's your close rate? Because that's incredibly important. And then also the average value of the opportunities that are coming to you so that you can see if you're not closing the bigger opportunities, let's figure out why. If the opportunities, you're closing them, but they're not as big as you want them to be, let's start to up the idea of how to get better and bigger opportunities, right? So all of this helps you figure out what to focus on. We're going to be doing these lives every week on Wednesdays. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm also hosting a seminar that's upcoming called Sales for Introverts. The waitlist is now open. If you want to get on that waitlist to find out more information about when that's actually going to happen, please go check the link in my bio and get on the waitlist to sign up for that. Thank you so much, you guys, for joining and hanging out with me today. I hope tracking leads is now going to become part of your process going forward in your business because you can see how much value it's going to give you and how much information it's going to give you, and then how much confidence on what to work on and how to do that. So I hope you guys really enjoyed today's quick live, and I will see you next time. And I hope you all have a great rest of your week. Thank you so much. Take care. Thanks, Green Room. Take care, everybody.